this video, we're going to be looking at a couple of recommendations for what I like to call home living tech. This is stuff that you are going to use around the house to get things done, take your life a little bit easier around, and to just, spruce things up a bit and make things a little bit more smart in your house. Just so you guys all know, this is actually part of a 3-part series, and the other 2 videos are going to be more for photographers and videographers, and the last one is for gaming. So make sure to check those out if it's something interesting for you. So the first piece of tech that we're going to be talking about is the Nest Hub or the Nest Hub Max. Basically, Google decided to combine their smart speaker with a display, boom, putting it together, and they created this bad boy. The difference between the two is you'll get a better speaker and a bigger screen when you upgrade to the Max. So for the Nest Hub, it's only 7 inches, and for the Nest Hub Max, it's about a 10-inch screen. So I have mine set up right underneath my TV on my media console, but you can have this literally anywhere in your house, be it a bedside table, on the kitchen, so you can look at recipes while you're cooking, or watch a YouTube video, or even on a dresser in your bedroom. Literally, the possibilities are endless. If you really want to make the most out of this thing, you can browse things on Google and literally use it almost like a tablet on its own. The next thing I have on my list is this little smart clock by Lenovo. This thing is powered by Google, and it's actually really cool because there's a charging pad built in right next to it. So when you're going to bed, you can just set your phone on the side and it'll charge overnight. This thing will run you only $25 in the US, and it's about $40 in Canada right now since they're both on sale. And honestly, for that price, you can't really go wrong. You have a couple of presets that you can use to customize the alarm clock's face. And then you also have the option to see weather as well as set the alarms directly on the unit. On top of the wireless charging pad, there's also a USB port on the back of it that you can use to plug in whatever you need to charge. And that's pretty much it for that bad boy. It's a smart alarm clock and it charges things. It's pretty simple and self-explanatory, but it's honestly still a cool piece of tech. So moving on from the Google Assistant, we're gonna be looking at an electric kettle from Fellow. This is the Stag EKG, which comes in 3 different variants. There's a standard version, a pro version, and a pro studio edition. So each of these kettles are gonna have their to the degree control where you can literally dial in what temperature you want your water to be boiled towards. And they all have their precision pour spout. Just to give you the biggest difference between the pro and the studio edition, the studio edition is gonna come with some really high-end materials such as glass and metal. But other than that, they're identical. So with the pro models, there are a couple of other features that are really cool, such as scheduling, so you can have a predetermined schedule for when to start boiling your water, a brew guide. So if you're new to this whole world of brewing coffees and teas, there's actually a little guide to help tell you what temperature you actually need to set the water to, because you don't always need it to be at 100 degrees Celsius. You can sometimes need it to be at 96 or 97. Everything is different depending on the leaves and the brew that you're making. So the standard model comes in a ton of different color options, but the newer pro models actually only come in black or white, or black with a walnut handle. Same thing for the studio version, it's just black or black with a walnut handle. Moving on, this is not tech at all, just something to accompany this beautiful kettle of yours. It's a Chemex. Me personally, I prefer the glass version with the glass handle, and you can get different sizes. You can get either a 3-cup, 6-cup, 8-cup, or even 10-cup, depending on how much coffee you need. And I really suggest that you get the right size for you. You really do not want to be making 1 or 2 cups of coffee in a 10-cup Chemex. That thing is massive and it's kind of overkill. Just a real quick note, like I mentioned earlier, these videos are not sponsored by anyone, so liking and subscribing means a lot to me. So coming back to some tech, we're gonna be looking at wireless chargers or wireless charger stands. So starting with the Belkin, this one here is just a magnetic wireless charger. It's not a MagSafe one. It only charges at about 7.5 watts when the MagSafe does about 20, I believe. So it is a little bit slower, but it still gets the job done and it holds up your phone so you can still see what's going on. And it's nice to watch videos on whenever you like. So this Belkin stand will run you about $50 Canadian, or I saw it on Amazon for $18 US, which is kind of crazy that it converts that way, but what are we gonna do about it? The other option is a stand for your MagSafe puck. So in my case, I have the Grove-made MagSafe stand, and I absolutely love this thing. It's beautiful. It's a bit pricey, but you get what you pay for. This is made of walnut and it has a really solid base made of metal, and it just looks phenomenal. If you're someone that's really into wood accessories, I highly recommend Grove-made. Their products are always phenomenal. The Grove-made stand will run you about $150 US. So I think for Canadians, that comes out to about 190 plus any kind of customs. So it is pricey, but trust me, you will love this thing. I love this thing. Beautiful. Moving on, we have the Dyson V8 Animal. Now this guy here is about $400. This is a really nice vacuum. It gets the job done really well. The one thing is that you need to be pretty quick with your vacuuming since the battery life is only about 40 minutes. And if you're used to a corded vacuum where you can take your sweet time, this will run out pretty quickly and you need to recharge it. Especially if you're using it in boost mode, you only have about 8 minutes to get whatever you need done. But this one comes with a couple of different attachments. So you have the direct drive cleaner head, which spins and picks up any kind of hair, a mini motorized tool. This one here is really nice to get those small spots. If you want to vacuum your chair, for example, I know I did mine and I got a ton of dust out of it, and Honestly, it was kind of scary to see that that's how much dust was inside of my chair. There's a mini soft brush, which is really nice for cleaning things like desk spaces or even like keyboards, you know, my coffee station, anything like that. It's really nice to be able to pick up. Is a combination tool. This one here, honestly, I'm not too sure how it works. And then there's also the crevice tool, so you can get those little cracks and corners around your house, you know, between your car seats, in your car, or anywhere that you can't really reach, which is kind of tight. Moving on to the final section, and the section I'm most excited about, the TV section. So these are two TVs that are surefire TVs to impress literally anyone. We have the Samsung frame and the LG OLED. The Samsung frame looks literally impeccable just because of the idea behind it. It's a TV that's mixed with a picture frame. This thing will go into picture frame mode when it's not in use, and then you'll kick it into TV mode when you want to game, watch TV, you know, kick on Netflix and chill out. And then when you're done, just goes right back to a picture frame where you can display any piece of artwork. So for me, I have it on this beautiful accent wall in my living room, which is actually a rock foundation kind of wall, and it looks magnificent. All Samsung frames will have 4K 120Hz. This one's a little bit of an older model. I think it's about 1 or 2 years old by now. I believe this one has QLED technology. Earlier models, I think 4 or 5 years ago, did not, but they added it into the frame. So it's really nice to have in brighter rooms. So as great of a TV this is, if you're a really big movie fan and you really care about the colors and blacks on the TV, this TV is not right for you. Just because it's not built for that. The Samsung frame is built to be a centerpiece and kind of an art piece. It's not really built to be the perfect movie TV, you know, giving you the best experience. Now let's talk about the OLED. So this thing is an absolute beast. For OLEDs, or the LG OLED in this case, this thing is absolutely phenomenal when gaming, and you get these perfect, crisp blacks, and the contrast ratio being pretty much infinite because that's how the technology works. The pixels are essentially turning off on a pixel by pixel basis rather than using zones like a full array backlit TV. So naturally, you're gonna get much better blacks that way. So I know I talked about my B8, which is a little old. To give you guys an idea of the newer models, there's a B2 and a C2. Now you're probably like, what's the difference between the B2 and the C2? Well, the difference is that the C2 is gonna do better in HDR because it's gonna be a little bit brighter, as well as do a better job at mapping the gradients. So for example, when watching a sunset on the TV, the sunset gradient will look a lot smoother and cleaner. The B2 is $1,000 for a 55-inch. And a 55-inch C2 is $1,300 US. So that's all for this gift guide. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, check out the other two gift guides, which I'll link up right over here. Later.